Welcome back to Speed Talk. Dean Reller here in the pit area with Bryan Roach. We caught up with the fast guy, Bryan. How you doing, man?
Not bad at all.
You've been running around the country, running in the Remax Challenge Series. Let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll talk about what's going on here.
The Remax Challenge Series stuff's going really good right now. We're 13th in points, and we get ready to go to Lake Geneva next.
I'll tell you what, you've been running here, track champion the last 2 years now. Now you're out running with some of the big names in racing. How's that feeling? You're not the big guy anymore,
yeah,
right?
It feels real good. I mean, we're learning. The good thing is we're learning a lot. You know, we're learning a lot. Every track we go to is different. You got to try different things, and it just really helps.
You've got a crew that consists mainly of I-94 guys. You know, when you're not racing in I-94, you make a big dent in this pit area.
Yeah.
Who you got helping out? Let's talk about some of those people.
We got Johnny Lure, Scott Brandt, Bob, my dad, AJ, Molly sometimes. Just a ton of guys from the racetrack go with us.
3 of those people you just mentioned have won feature races already this year.
Yeah.
And I know somebody that hasn't. What's going on with your year at I-94? I know it hasn't been every week, but...
the car was really good 2 weeks ago. We got a flat left rear. And then that kind of just puts you behind the ball because your tire rotation's out of order. And then we threw some tires at it, and the stagger grew. We just got loose, and it's just the tire deal is a big deal this year.
Yeah, and they're going to be doing some work on it. Today, actually, we're at the track. We're testing some BF Goodrich tires for some future development and stuff like that. And I know you had some bad luck with the car, but it'll come around, won't it?
Oh yeah, I mean the tires they seem to work really good when they're new, and they fall off and they kind of stay there. And this is probably a good testing place for them because the track is so coarse. And you'll find out what a good tire is because you'll wear. I mean, I wore a couple out already. It shows.
I talked with you earlier about, especially today. I noticed they were doing some testing on the car. You're used to being a hands-on kind of driver, getting out there working on the car. Now you're running this touring series. You're more or less, drive the car, and when people are working on the car, you just have to sit there. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's a big change. I mean, we're always in constant communication. We come in, we go out, we do a run. If the car ain't like how we like it, we bark back and forth across the radio and say, let's try this, let's try that, and then we go at it, and I go out again. And the whole time I'm just sitting in the car, and it's warm, but what do you do?
It's something you're definitely not used to, though.
No, I'm really not used to it. I mean, like today we had a problem with the training, and I was the first guy in there tearing it up, And Remax, I can't do that. I still got to sit there. I got to be patient, be calm. It's not easy to do.
You really have to have a lot of trust in the people that you have working with you then.
Yeah, we're developing a real good trust now, and that's what you need. I mean, you tell somebody to do something, it gets done right, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to go by and second guess it.
A lot of cars, a lot of drivers come to I-94, and they come to you for advice. And you're very knowledgeable, winning lots of races and championships and the like. Do you go to a lot of people when you go to the Remax Series, and are there people that can kind of mentor you along?
In the Remax Series, there really hasn't been a lot of people, except for maybe the local guys, like Les. He runs up here. He's helped me. I've talked to Danny Fredrickson a little bit. They don't really let a lot loose, but he'll let some stuff loose. But there's not too many guys that will actually offer you information. You really got to pry it all over.
You see a lot of guys here that have done well and are going to possibly move on. Can you talk about some of the competitors that you face when you come here? Everybody's always gunning for you, so you're kind of the target that everybody's shooting for.
I don't know, but yeah, I think that the people that watch this year will probably be Club, Coranda. I'm hoping Rob gets his stuff going a little bit better because...
that is a car of yours from last year.
That's my old car, and that thing's fast. I know it is. So, and I don't know, those are probably the... Trent's really not having a good year. It doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't look like he picked it up from last year. But I mean, anybody can step it up and go to the front. The track now, the tire program, everything makes it real close, and the competition is side by side, and that's what you need.
Haven't had any 100-lap races yet this year, and last year you were kind of like the big guy when it comes to those 100-lap races. I bet you want to see some more of those, right?
I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of them here. It gets you. Like on the Remax Challenge deal, we're running 250 laps, 300 laps, 100-mile race. They're all long races, but yeah, I'd like to see one here.
You run 30 laps on a normal week. That's just got to be a walk in the park then, right?
Oh yeah, it's a big swing from 250 to down to 30. You get in, get out, be done.
We have a new pit lane here. I bet you're real anxious to see that thing in action, too.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, that'll probably be a good thing for the fans to be able to see the cars out there parked on down on the front row and stuff. And it'll bring people to the track to be able to just, they know what's going on then, they can see it, and it makes them want to come here and see it.
We have the Governor's Cup race coming up at the end of July. I know you have a race that weekend, so you can't be with us.
No.
However, at the end of the year in October, the October Nationals, got a lot of big name drivers coming. Nobody else is running that weekend. I know you're going to be here.
Yeah, we should be. Our last, I can't remember when they rescheduled the Rockford race, but I think we will be here. I think
I believe that is the week after
Yep.
the October Nationals. I wonder if that was done on purpose or not, because a lot of the big names are talking about running the Steve Carlsons, the Brian Hoppies, the Paul Menards, the guys who race in the Remax Challenge Series are saying, hey, we're going to go to I-94. And I'm sure you're just loving that, hearing those guys say that.
I hope they come here. That'll be a great thing for the track, and for them. They'll learn a lot about this place.
Of course, you're going to hope that everything's working on your car then, because you're going to show off, because you know this track probably better than anyone else.
Yeah. But you got those guys. They got a lot of notes and a lot of brain power behind them. So I'm sure they'll get here. They'll get it figured out quite fast, and they'll be fast too.
Of course, you're moving on to the Remax Series this year, but you're coming back when you can, right?
Yep. I always come back here, my home track, and just I think the fans appreciate it, and I appreciate when the fans are.
Now, your brother raced last year. Is there any chance of him racing at all this year?
No, I don't think so. We were trying to get a super stock deal together, but we just decided to scrap that. And it's a lot of work running Remax, and it's just wearing me out.
One thing when you come to I-94, you bring a lot of fans, I'll tell you that. You got a lot of family that come in. You have a lot of people up in the grandstand cheering for you every week, too.
Well, that's good. I'm glad they come out and watch.
After the races, a lot of fans come down and visit, too. And I know your car always has a crowd of people by there.
Yeah, that's good, though. I mean, the track needs it, and I hope we do a good job for the track, and they do a good job for me, so I'm happy.
Other tracks don't do that, allow the fans to come down into the pit area. Do you like to see that, especially when the little kids come out?
Yeah, I think so, because kids are the future of the sport, even though they're really young, but they see it when they're young. They want to do it. They want to try it, and I think that's good.
We got a go-kart track now that they just made in the infield. I'll tell you what, one of these days we're going to get a bunch of drivers out there, and we're going to get a bunch of go-karts and turn them loose. I think you'd be a wild man out there.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I mean, I think that's a big addition to this track too, because there's a lot of karts in this part of the woods, and that'll bring people here too, and that's what they need.
All right, I'll tell you what, we caught up with him. He's a hard guy to keep up with on the racetrack and off it. It's Bryan Roach, driving the car number 99 in the late model class. If you can catch up with him, you're usually going to be behind him because he's always in front. That's going to wrap things up for this segment right now. More with Speed Talk in a little bit.
We're here at the I-94 Raceway in Sauk Centre with the Speed Talk radio program. I'm Jason Dale, along with our guy who's been the modified winner so far this year, Jon Notch. Congratulations on 4 wins, 4 out of 4.
Thanks.
How do you feel about that?
Car's working, feel great. Great to have a good car.
You raced back here a long time ago. What was it, like 94? When you first started racing out here at the I-94 Raceway, or when was that?
No, I raced out here when it was dirt yet. I would say it was, I don't know when they put it done. When they first, the second year they opened up, we were out here. And then we were running 4 cylinders, then we went to Mod 4s. In 94, we won a championship. And then we raced up until a few years ago, and we took a couple years off because I started the business. And now we're back out here.
Yeah. Talk about how the track has changed. I mean, it's been drastic, but from when you first started to now.
Oh, I think the track was looser. I think there's more oil in the track when we first started. The track is good now. I don't know, it even seems smoother than when they first started. Good track.
Yeah. How about this year? I know you had high expectations coming in, but did you think you're going to win the first 4 races? And can you keep on keeping it up with the way you are?
Well, I don't know. There's more competition coming out every week, and I don't know if we'll keep it up. I didn't expect to win 4 races, first 4 especially this year. But we do have a good car, and speaks for itself.
Yeah. You know, last year you drove modified at the end of the year a few times, and now you started off this year kind of a whole new deal. But it's the same people. Rocky Johannick and that group are the same people, right?
Yeah, last year Rock called me and asked me to drive. They had 2 modifieds, and I drove one of theirs for about a half a season. That's what kind of got me back into it. And this year Rock ordered a new chassis, which is a left-hander chassis, and it was just a bare chassis. We got it. My brother put all the mounts on it, put it all together. We actually used the fab shop down at Rapid Performance in Sauk Rapids, and we put everything together there. We used our shop and put everything together.
Yeah. How did you get to know the Johannicks?
Just out here. When I started racing out here, that's when I met them.
Okay. Because that's kind of a big deal. I mean, they put together a great car, and they're a great team, and to have you behind the wheel, I mean, that's saying something about you.
Yeah, Steve Johannick has a left-hander too, and he's running Elko, yeah. You know, so he's out there Saturday nights, and we put this car together for out here and see what we can do.
Yeah, like you said, racing is kind of in your blood and in your family. Your brother has raced quite a bit too. It's good. I wish he'd come out here and race a little bit here and there.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing. He was racing in Sauk Rapids, and he gave it up this year to help us get this car together. And so he sold that car, and he's not racing out now. He's just working on this one.
Well, you had some fast times. I think you have the track record for our time trials, this and that. But it seems like you end up starting at the back of the pack for the feature events. And I think I've had a discussion with you about this in the past. What do you think when you're starting at the back of the field? You know you have 15 laps to get to the front. Wouldn't it be smart just to hang back a little, let the cars sort them out, and then try to pick them off one by one? You talked to me before, you said you just can't do that.
And I talk about it every week, you know, taking a little easier on the start, but it's going to get me in trouble one of these weeks. I dive down and I take the bottom, and it's been working, but it'll get me in trouble one of these weeks.
I think you said to me before, you see a hole, you have to take it.
Yeah, you have to, because it gets harder to pass once the cars are strung out.
Yeah.
You can take it off the whole shot, you have to take it.
Well, they have the big invitational coming up as far as the Mod Madness $1,000 to win for the 4th of July. Have you heard about that event?
Yeah, I actually seen it on the website.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I hope it brings out more cars. It'd be nice to see a class of 20 cars out here, 22 cars, and go at it.
Yeah. It's difficult for the asphalt, for the guys to come from the dirt to the asphalt. But can it be done? You know, making these modifieds work, or dirt cars, make them work on the asphalt?
Well, you make them work. You look at Terry Merton. He's got a pretty good car. He's making it work. The 85 is making it work. You got Frank Brandt that's coming out this week. And that's a dirt car switching over, and I think they'll be good too.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. I know you have a lot of people to thank. I mean, things have gone real well for you. What do you think has been the turning point so far? You know, have you got enough money? You got the right team? You get the swing of things?
Yeah, we got good sponsors. You know, start out Heartland Door Sales, which is my business.
You do have to work for a living. I saw you work.
Yeah, I do work for a living. Another big sponsor is the El Paso Sports Bar in St. Joe. Carroll really helps out a lot with some of this rock, American Motor Tool. And there's a few other sponsors. Rapid Container, Spectrum Coating, did all the painting on the car. Got Rapid Performance using their shop all the time. American Equity Recovery.
What kind of money does it take to run out here in a modified competitive? If you wanted to, you know, people were thinking about putting together a modified 5,000, 10,000, 15. What are you looking at?
Well, if you want to go with a new car, real competitive, and use an asphalt chassis, you can get by for about 12 to 13,000. You know, but you can come and have a lot of fun for, you know, $5,000.
Well, congratulations on the start of the season, and we'll see you again.
All right, thanks.
Back with more Speed Talk after this. here in the pits at the I-94 Raceway in Sauk Centre with the winner in the Super Stock division, Scott Brandt, the Iceman. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yep. In your return to the I-94 Raceway after a couple of years off, jumping to a Super Stock and right back in victory lane, that must make you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in a car, and I was really surprised on how well I did right away. But the car's great. I feel good. I feel like I'm driving it good. So everything's looking up.
Talk about this race a little bit. Last week was your first week out here, and you really came on strong at the end of the race. But really, in this one, looked like you were strong the entire way.
Yeah, last week, first time I got in the car was qualifying, and just basically shook it down, and the car was good then, and I just kind of got a slow start, started at the back last week, and just came on strong at the end. But unfortunately, there weren't any caution flags, and couldn't catch them. But this week, I mean, got a little better start, and just basically drove by them all.
This is just like in the big ones. You got to put the hat on there too. What's that hat say?
Roads.
Roads racing.
Right. Like they need any more publicity. But I tell you, your history here at the I-94 Raceway is long.
Yeah.
Started racing when, in 1997?
Well, I've actually been racing since I was 10, in 1990, quarter midgets, then started racing legend cars in 96, and basically this has been my home track from about 1997 to 99, 2000, you know. Run legend cars here, late models, and I don't know, I just have so much, it's close to home, I have a lot of fun, I love the people up here. So.
Yeah. How about three-time track champion here in Sauk Centre? What was it like back then? Did it come easy back then, or?
It wasn't too easy. There were a lot of good cars running with me, and I just basically went out there every week and came out with the top three and tried not to wreck the car. And just I had this track. I had so many laps on this track running, especially two classes, legend cars and late models. I really had an advantage on a lot of the guys.
And then you did run a late model here for a while. Took a couple of years off. Now you're back in a super. Compare how the track is and how the cars are from a late model to a super now.
Well, the car I'm driving really drives like nice. I mean, it handles. We got it handling just as good as my late model did. It's a little difference. They have a two-barrel carb on the motor. There's not as much power, so I'd say it's a little easier to drive. You can put your foot down a little more. Late models, I always like driving this track. I always had fun doing it. Never been a problem. It's really, once you get the line around here in one car, you kind of know in all of them. So.
How about your crew? You just hooked up with Rhoads Racing, and you got Bryan Roach over here. It must be really fun down in the pits.
Yeah, I mean, we always have a good time. I mean, that's the reason we come here. If it wasn't fun, we wouldn't do it. I've been helping Bryan the last couple of years since I haven't been racing. Met AJ last year and became friends and started going down there helping him work on his cars. And last week he said, "Hey, you want to drive this car?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, so I've been waiting for you to ask.
Yeah.
But talk about your crew duties with Bryan Roach now as he's running the Remax.
Well, I live with Bryan up in Becker, so I basically just help him out in the weekly maintenance on the car, go to all the races. I've done some spotting some nights. I've been the spotter, and his brother's the crew chief. I've been interim crew chief when he hasn't been able to make the race, and I'm also sometimes I've been the gas man. So I basically do everything: tires, gas, spotting, you name it.
Now you're a racing nut. You've been around racing your entire life. You've done the weekly thing, you know, here at and in Fergus Falls, wherever you've been. What is it like on the touring circuit? Is that something that you gravitate towards, or is it just different? Or
I love touring racing. I mean, that was my goal to be in the NASCAR Remax series. Unfortunately, finances didn't work out that right, and I wasn't able to put it together. But it's kind of a whole new ballgame. You know, it's a lot more serious out there. You got a lot of money in your cars, and you got to be on the ball to run with those guys. Where here, we put a lot of time in our cars and try and be right on the ball, but you know, we take it a little in stride. You know, if we don't finish as well, we say, "Oh well," and just have a good time, basically.
Well, on a tour, you're driving a different track every week.
Yeah.
Where here, you know where to go because you've been there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big adjustment, especially working with Bryan now. He's going to every track we go to. He's never raced on. There's only a couple on the series he's been on, so we're on a big learning curve. Car setups are different for each track, so it's really fun though to go to a new place. You just
facilities. We were out in Colorado, got to race with the trucks out in Gateway, Illinois, and I mean, it's a blast.
Well, congratulations on a big win. Are you going to stick with the Supers this year? Stick for the whole year? Or?
When I'm not with the Remax team traveling, I'll probably be driving that Super a few more times. It might be in it next weekend, and we'll just see how it goes.
It's roadsracing.org is their website, or log it on I-94raceway.com. Click under drivers, and you can log on that way as well. So congratulations, and we'll see you later, man.
See ya.
Back with more Speed Talk after this. Back on the Speed Talk program, the I-94 Raceway in Sauk Centre. I'm Jason Dale, along with our winner in the late model division, Stacey Rossell. Congratulations. Thanks. Boy, I tell you, that must really make you feel good. Coming from modifieds last year, only the 6th night of racing, and you come home with your first trophy.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah. What was it like? Take me back to the race in your car. Earlier this year, you're having some problems, slowly gaining momentum, where last week I think you finished 3rd. The week before that, you finished 4th.
Yep.
Now tonight, you knew that your car was getting better and better each week.
Better and better. And I guess the start I was a little upset because the start was kind of goofy, you know, with the he didn't turn the light off in the backstretch, so I didn't know we were going green.
Oh, so it kind of caught you off guard.
Caught me off guard, and I was sleeping, and so I got a bad start and was in 3rd, and just kind of started working my way by those guys, and I got lucky when Eugene and Rhoads got together a little bit, and I got by those 2 guys, and then I just kind of hung out there and drove it as fast as I could the whole race.
I guess, yep, I was impressed that your car, usually in a 30-lap race, your car is good for a while and then it's not so good for a while. It seemed like your car was consistent the entire race.
Yeah, it was good. It was just starting to get a little loose towards the end of the race. Last probably 2-3 laps when I was starting to catch those lap cars, it was starting to get a little bit loose. But other than that, it lasted the whole time.
What can you do when your car starts getting loose? The tail end starts kicking out. You just have to drive slower?
You just have to slow down, and you can't go in the corner quite as hard because the back end will come out on you, and you just kind of have to drive it as fast as you can.
No, it's kind of a big change from the modifieds to the late models, and I think that you just hit on it right there. Knowing when the car is getting loose and how far you can go with it. You know, I remember when you first got into a modified for the first time, you had to find that fine line there, and now you're going through that learning curve again.
Yeah, it's a little different. The cars with the wider tires and shorter wheelbase and a few things, it makes it, you know, it's harder to feel. The modified was real easy to feel where it was, and with the late model, it's just a little bit harder to feel where it is. If you get loose, it's harder to catch it and going around than the modified was.
How do you feel it? Through the steering wheel?
You can start to feel the back end, you know, start coming around. And if it's tight, you can feel that you have to turn more than you normally have to. So that's how you feel it.
And you've had a very busy spring as well. Getting married just a couple weeks ago. Tell us about that. How'd you guys meet?
Actually, we met here because she races a late model also, and we met last summer. And we had met a couple of times before that, but last summer we started dating, and we dated for probably about 7 months, and I almost.
How'd you do it?
I took her to the Spicer Castle in Spicer, Minnesota.
So it was in the wintertime.
And it was in the wintertime. It was actually just before Christmas. It was 3 days before Christmas.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, and you guys both, of course, racing families, and so you decided to get married on a Friday, not a Saturday.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you were racing the next night.
Yeah, that's right.
What were your feelings then? I mean, you're just I mean, you just got married. I remember how I was when I first got married. Kind of tough to concentrate on what you're doing. In La La Land, just a little bit.
You know, actually, it was harder than the weeks before than it was. You know, after it was over, it was like a weight lifted.
Sure.
You know,
Yep.
it wasn't so much stuff to think about. I could concentrate a little bit more on the racing. It was hard being here the night after because I would have rather, you know, been a something, but we were here.
Well, I think the fans, what's really fun with you guys, the fans have really hung on to you guys. You know, not just Brittany. Brittany's always been very popular, especially in Fergus Falls. She has a big following up there. But you really have a good following, and now the two of you together is making it. You must really enjoy that.
I do. I enjoy it a lot. It's a lot of fun being out there with her. And one of these nights, she's going to be up there running with me. I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
Well, you know, she finished second place last night.
Right, that's right. Yeah, she should have won that race.
Yeah. That's just
great.
And then you guys come up for autographs, you know, for the meet and greet and stuff, and you always have the biggest crowds, and that must make you feel good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And so, well, congratulations. I should let you go, but congratulations on your win. And I know you probably can't be thinking about a point title this year. Your first year in a late model, just
kind of do as well. I mean, if we end up there, we end up up there. But I don't think, you know, we got knocked so far back those first 3 weeks that I don't think we have much of a chance of getting back up there.
Yeah. Well, the first year in a late model with that tough field of cars is pretty tough.
It is.
So maybe I should ask your opinion here before I let you go, since you already admitted that you're not really going for that. Who do you think has the inside track this year?
That's a tough call. I don't know. Jesse Pug's got, you know, he's got a good chance. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't know. You know, I'm the announcer, so I'm supposed to be unbiased. You know, but that 22 car of Coranda has been there every week.
Yeah, he's tough.
So if I had to pick one, he would be the one. Even though, you know, I'm good friends with Jesse Klug, and I know all the rest of the guys, but I'd have to say that 22. We got it on tape. We'll be back with more Speed Talk after this.